Hey guys, I'm gonna start today's class talking about the new transparency sheet that I upload in the new document. So if you still didn't print and you're printing for the first time, I posted, I put other sizes for the transparencies. So we have size 1, that is the same one that we were using before. Size 2 is a little bit smaller, size 3 is even smaller. Why did I do that? Because once we start building our sculpture, even the front one now has a nose in the front, right? So we can't really connect it anymore because now it's farther, so it's bigger. So if yours is not fitting, you can switch to number 2 or number 3. It will all depend. Or you can still use number 1 and just figure it out, like discount a little bit of the what is left bigger. And that's how I used to do. I usually don't have all those sizes. But for who is beginner, who is starting to use transparency right now, maybe it's easier. So it's available there. You don't have to use them. But if you want to take a try, it's just there for you. Same thing with the profile. So let me face this way. So here, it's, as I said, it's not touching the center of the profile, right? To fit the right size here, would have to have a cut, and it would have to place right there, but it's farther, so sometimes smaller, a little bit smaller would make it easier to place in there. So it all depends on how you want to fit your sculpture. Okay, so usually after I do the nose, I do the mouth, but I've been looking at this sculpture, and for you guys, you probably think like, oh my gosh, what is this? This will never become Amy Winehouse. It looks like an old woman that lost her teeth somehow. Because right now we just have nose and eyes, so you can't really actually see Amy Winehouse, and you're absolutely right to get that feeling. So we could just go and build the mouth right now, just the way it is. Or, if you rather, we can add some volumes to the face so you can kind of see something better. It doesn't have a rule here. It's whatever you feel like doing, go ahead and do it. As much as you keep on the measurements and keep on searching the semblance with her, the order that you're going to do that, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so we've decided here, me and the students, that we're gonna start building up some volume before we build the lips. So before we build some volumes, I'm going to show you guys this. So what is this? Be careful when you build the volumes to don't lose the right shape on the head. Look into this angle. If you see our skeleton, this is the right shape. It's not an oval and it's not rounded. So this is the widest, like you can see here. This is the widest point of the head. And then it comes like an oval shape, almost making like a large oval here. Sorry. Kind of like making a large oval in the bottom, and then start getting thinner here. And once it reaches pretty much the arch of the eyebrow, here we have the tempora here, the temporal line. So that would be here. So the oval stops getting pointy here and kind of get flatter right here. Okay, so this is something, and I also want to take this image and show something else. We're going to build some volume on the face, so we're going to put some cheeks. So one of the biggest mistakes that my students used to do when we are building that part, Winehouse right over here. One of the biggest mistakes that my students usually do when they're building the volumes is to get this cheek here, and adding too much clay and giving this shape to the face, like here. So that cannot happen, okay? The face always have to go thinner and then do the right shape. Be careful with this, to don't do that. That is very, very common. That's why I am mentioning. And then we're just gonna build, this is just about the lips. We go for that later. Let's just start building the volumes. So I can use this, the image, or I can use one of the transparencies that is fitting your sculpture right now when you put on the front, because you're gonna have to go farther because of the nose. So I'm gonna measure hers. As I said, it was not easy to find something that would show her full face. Like, she doesn't really wear her hair pulled out. This one, I found it, so that's why I got this picture here, but it's not a frontal one, but at least you can see that she has a very skinny face and long, skinny and long face. So you can kind of measure, you can kind of guess following this line here where her head is going, kind of. So just a guess, measure it, because that's the same thing. It's not showing in her face. Our face, oh, we will be covered with hair, but we try our best to get it right. So here is what we get for the cheekbones here. So it's even wider, mine. So I have to remove a little bit of clay here. See, I didn't work on my sculpture for 2 weeks, I guess. Well, yeah, 2 weeks. So the clay starts drying out a bit. That's normal. If it cracks when you try to remove or change some shapes, it's normal. So I'm gonna remove some of the cheekbone here. I mean some clay. I'm not gonna remove the bone. Just see, my clay got dried for 2 weeks not touching. Not every clay does that. Sculpey usually don't do it. Depend on the clay you're using. PV clay does it. And now I'm going to cover this hole because this is huge and it makes a huge difference. I'm not going to search the size of her face here. I'm just adding some volume to get rid of this weird face. So once we cover this hole, it already makes a huge big difference. Just if you want to be careful, make sure that it won't be bigger than hers, just enough to really cover it. So I'm following this, I should mention that to you guys. As you guys saw, I measured this. I'm not sure where her cheekbone is actually going, but remember that I showed the shape of the head. So this is not the widest part of her face. It keeps on opening, okay? So once you go deeper in her face, this is going to be wider. So don't worry about that. We're measuring just the front. Don't worry about that part here. Just the front of the face. You don't want to be larger than hers. So you see the difference when you just put a little bit of clay and cover these holes. It already changes a lot. Cover this one, and then we start getting rid of the weird face. So we can add this volume here. Be careful to don't let air between the clays. Then once you do this, you go in this direction and make sure that you add a little, kind of the same amount in each side, so you don't work with a very off-symmetric face, because then it's harder to give the symmetry, and try to always keep up a little bit similar. Okay, that already feels better. Once we place the mouth here, it will look even better. Okay, so this is one volume. We didn't really add. Here, my bone is showing here. I'm gonna add some clay just to get the transparency of the bone off. My clay is too transparent, it's showing my bone, so just a little bit. I'm not gonna put volume, this really covering. Another thing that we can do is get rid of this huge big hole in here. We do have a hole, but we have a huge big hole in the muscle, in the bone. We also have a muscle here, a temporal muscle, so it makes this bone hole less obvious. So let's cover it. We can't totally disappear with it because you can still see on the face, right? But we can make it a little bit less, otherwise the person looks sick or very, very skinny. It's unreal. Nobody has this big. So just make sure to cover all the... Don't let air. And make it a little bit smaller here. And we can smooth it out, that it's gonna feel even better. So I didn't do anything special here. The only things I did was I measured the cheeks. Why did I measure it? Because if we're adding volume and the person has a very big and large cheek, then we would have to add a lot of clay here. And then I mentioned that in this position you can't really do on the sides, so the cheeks must be added towards the front, not to the sides. Okay, we are still going to add that. We didn't. We're just covering holes right now. And so once I cover this, you can already see it. It already looks so much better. Do the same in the other side. So you can still see the temporal line here. You can't get rid of it. It's gonna be here to the end of the face because we have it. Well, at least it doesn't look so unhuman anymore. So that's already better. So the next volume that we're gonna add is this volume here. This part that comes to the nose, here and here. Just a little bit in the front, because we already measure, and this doesn't need clay to the side, so we're gonna add to the front. How are we gonna do that? How much volume are we gonna add? We are gonna get the profile picture, or let me see if you can. No, you can't really see the transparency, but you can see in the profile, and you can always, if you feel like it, you can add to your transparency. So just before I show the profile, one of my students had doubts here about the transparencies and comparing frontal, one is working and on the side view is not. So what happened is sometimes you have to use different sizes for this. So maybe you will need to work with number 2 for the profile and number 3 for the frontal image. So why does that happen? Why is that difference happening? If it's the same face, it should be the same size. It is actually the same size, but what changes is the distance that you are getting farther from the cut of the view. So when you make a picture, you are working with no dimensions. So it's like everything is on this cut, right? Kind of like where the eyes is. So it's like a flat cut, and that was where the picture kind of shows. So this is for the frontal one. The cut is here, like you cut the face in this flat. And for the profile, is right in the center here. You cut it, and then that's the measurement. So once you have a 3D and you have this, you have to kind of put your profile farther. This distance that you put farther from the size not always is the same that the distance that you have to go farther in here. So if this distance from the eye to the nose is bigger than this distance, then you have to use a smaller image, because it depends on how far you have to go with your transparency to make it bigger or smaller, right? So that's why not always is the same size number, and sometimes it's even a different one. So if you want to make other sizes, you can go ahead and make it. So you see here it's just that distance touching the cheeks here, and this one is the nose. So they are not the same distances, so it's going to be different sizes of transparency. Okay, so let's go back for a profile. So what I was saying, for the volume, what we have to do here to know how much volume we're going to put here. We're going to work with shades, because there's not a trace for that. So what is the shades? You're going to see here, that one is terrible because of the lights. Let's see if that another profile helps better. This one helps a little bit better. Yeah, this one is a little bit better. So you see here, there's this muscle, and you can see here from the eye, you can kind of see there's a volume here. And this, it's about here and here. She has a very big part in here. But this shade here shows how much volume you have to put on her face here to make the cheeks. So we're going to fill up this to match that part. So actually it's like eye, cheeks, and here is not cheeks anymore, here is already Philtrum. Cheeks come behind the Philtrum, like this. So you kind of have to work with that. You can always look in other angles as well to make sure it's matching. And another one that is really good is this one here. So you put your sculpture like this, and then you see if there's going too much off her face, then you have to remove. Ours need a lot of volume here. So if you want, even, you can get the transparency that you are working on, place it in there. You can place it in here if you rather. It's kind of the same. It's not the same profile, but you can do it because it's still hers. You can do this and get the line that you traced there, and actually get a Sharpie. I don't have a thin one here. I will do with the thick one, and kind of mark that. Then you know how much volume you will need to add on your sculpture. Okay, so you can do that. And then you go there, fit profile. Let me get a white paper on the back. Oh, that's not white. It's all blurry. You can fit transparency, and then you see how much volume you still have to fill up in there. This is if I use transparency 1, and then if you're using transparency 2, you go there and match up. I didn't even check which one is fitting for me. I just print it out, and I will check that after. When I'm teaching, I'm not very concerned on how mine is turning out. I'm more concerned in teaching you guys what to do. So I'm not very worried about my face here. Okay, so to fill that up, I will follow. I'm going to add a little bit of clay. Here. Like this. And I'll keep on going up here. When I get here to the cheek, as I said, I don't want it to be larger than what I already measured. So I'm going to get my knife and I'm going to cut right here, because I'm feeling this volume just on the front view. So that's going to help me to just put volume in the front, to the front. And I am going to smooth that out, finding the nose, going behind the wings of the nose. I'm not gonna add any volume to the wings because I already measured that here. And I'm going to go around the eyes. Be careful here. Don't go on this area here of the eyes because we do have that part deeper. So go around. We're not shaping it with perfection right now. We're just putting some volume. Like this. So you cannot fill until you reach the eye line here. Leave it a space. Okay? And go underneath. And you can smooth it out. And if you want, if you think it's still, you put that in and then you made that huge big line here, go forward and add volume here too, to the front. It's not a problem. Just be careful because it does get deeper here, okay? Do this, and then to make sure it's right, you put enough volume or you put not too much. You didn't put too much. You go here and measure with your transparency. See if it cannot pass this line. We don't need to go exactly in this line right now because we are not actually sculpting all the face. We are just adding some volume. So just make sure it's not going past the line, and that's good enough. Mine is not passing. I can still even add more here. So I could fill up, but I don't have to. It's good enough to don't look so much, so weird. And we're going to put the lips and then it's going to look better. So now I'm going to do the other one. For the other one, I won't measure. What I do is I try to match up this side. So I get as much as symmetry as I can. So I go here, and then if you don't pass the cheekbone line, it's okay. You can just, you don't need to cut. Let's go like this. So again, while I'm doing this, because this is repetition, I'm going to remind you guys that there's no order for how you sculpt this face. You could put this volume before you build up the nose, if you feel uncomfortable in just building the nose suddenly in a bone face. You can build up the volumes first, put some kind of like a sketch of the nose, sketch her whole face and volumes, and then you give the details. Or you can go like I did. What I think the best thing to do is for you to experiment different ways and then see what works better for you. Don't always try to follow the order that I'm doing. Once you learn how to do it and how to measure and what is important on the face, then just try different orders. Try to sketch her face first, give all the volumes, and then you build up the details on the nose and see what works better for you. So once you put here, you see, you can even make the cheeks a little bit skinnier because it's more in front, so it's not going to get my bone transparent. And I'm going to kind of like try to find the symmetry looking in this direction. It's not very symmetric. This direction is even worse. It's not symmetric at all. But I don't need to find that right now. As you guys can take your time and work with better symmetry. I don't want to do that in class because it kind of take our class time and I can do more important teaching here. Okay, so we have a good volumes. We can still put more volumes on the forehead if you want. I don't think it's necessary though. I think it's already workable. It doesn't look like an old lady starving anymore. But if you do want to put some volume on the forehead, just make sure to measure her temporal line here. So it's usually on the arch of the eyebrow. So measure that up. Centralize. Measure here. Then you can shape her forehead better. You kind of go around the arch. Mine was wider than hers. This one is right. So you make the temporal line here and a little bit over the eye. You kind of don't get in, let it go around the bone and smoothen. Get a better forehead shape. And if you want to still add the volumes that are missing, like this size of mine is smaller than the other one, so I can fix that. And always I can fix using my profile transparency to see if it's missing some more here. Probably it is, but I'm not going to worry about that right now because I'm not very concerned about how bad she looks anymore. I think you can already see a human here, so I think we can go ahead and do the mouth, and then we also lose this starvation profile. Okay. Okay, so once we build up the volumes and we can already see that this is a human being, still looks with very weird lips, especially on the profile. So let's put some lips here, put some mouth. Let's shape the mouth, and then we will almost going to be able to see Amy Winehouse, I guess, hopefully. Okay, so for the lips, what I'm going to show you guys here. Also for this book, I'm just going to use this book, so if you guys want the full thing, you have all these images available in there too. I can't put these images available for you guys to download because that's illegal. You really have to go there and get the book. So let's split the mouth, the lips, in 5 parts to help us to see better each shape. So top lip we're going to split in 3 parts, bottom lip in 2 parts. Why? Why are we going to split in 3 and 2? Because of the difference of volumes and shapes. So if you look in this image here, you can see that the bottom lip make 2 bumps here and here. So that's why we split in 2. 2 similar, right? If you cut in the center, we have the same shape in the 2 sides, it's symmetrical. And the top lip, we have 1 bump in the center. And here depends on the shape of the lip you are making. Sorry, I was out of the camera here. So 2 bumps on the bottom. On the top, 1 bump on the center. And here depends on the lips that you're making. You have flats, you have it flat, or you also have little bumps here, like more full lips. It all depends. So once you split the mouth in 5, it makes it easier for every shape of lips. You can see in this image, it doesn't matter how full is your lips. Like this one is very, very full. This one is not at all, but you can still see the parts right here. So that makes it easier for us to sculpt the mouth. And something else that is really important for the mouth is the shape of what's around the mouth. Actually, we're going to start building that shape first, and then we're going to go for these details. So here is what we can name. So bump, the bumps here, there's 1, 2, 3. Here is the flat part, and it also rolls in, okay? Make sure to don't make it absolutely flat like that. It has to roll in. Here and here too, always rolling in, like this. Here is the sharp edge that goes up, sharp edge, and then it goes down right here. I guess this is, everybody knows that. And here is what this image is really good for us to see around the lips and its shapes. This is what people get more in trouble to make lips. So never forget, the mouth is not flat, it is rounded. Ours is already, because we follow the skeleton, and when we build up we made sure to let it rounded. But ours, mine at least, I don't know when you guys did that, but mine is very thin. We're gonna have to make this wide here. It's too thin here, it cannot be, it looks more like a duck. We have to open up here, the arch. It's not that much. This arch is not that pointy. So you see, but there is an arch here and here. Okay, but the top arch, this is the philtrum. I already told you guys that, from here to here and around the lips, all this area we call philtrum. And then around the mouth here, on the top, it goes up until it reaches the center of the sharp edge here. Then once it reaches here and here, that's the highest part, it goes down in the center. Okay, and this one, it's kind of like people get it right. People don't really mess up this part, but this part, a lot of people mess up. A lot. Why? Because once you try to shape the lip here according to the person, usually everybody go, not everybody, but usually when we don't know what we're doing, we tend to make a line here to mark the shape of the lip. We make a dip line here. There is not a dip line here. Don't do that. There is a dip line here that goes to the chin in the center, but here we have these triangles here. It goes outside, it goes out, and it doesn't have really a separation from here. Some shapes of lip does have a little bit of a line here, but this is the kind of person that if you look at them when they are not blowing a kiss, it still looks like they are a little bit blowing a kiss. It's a specific shape of lip. It's not average, and it doesn't happen very like that much often. There is some lips that you can dig a little bit here, but this line that you see the difference between the lip and that part is more a texture line. It's a different of texture. It doesn't have a hole in here. There is, you can even add some volume here, but not a hole. A little bit of a volume. Okay, so don't forget, we're going to call this the triangulars. That's how I don't know the name in English. In Portuguese, I say the triangulars in Portuguese, so I'm just going to keep on saying that. Because it shapes like two triangles here. See, one triangle here, if you don't make it rounded, and one triangle here under the bottom lips. And here you can see it calls the ridge. Is this different of texture here, you see? That makes the difference of the lips around the bumps. Something else that is really common is that the top lip is a little bit wider than the bottom lip. You see? If you look here, we have more volume here than here. Here in the bottom lip, we start getting more volume, more in the center. And then we just have this ridge going up and meeting up the top lip, but it's not, there's no volume here. Okay, well, so let's put that on practice. Let's see if I have something else to talk about. Yeah, I actually do. Something else to finish, that is going to be the last thing that we're going to do, is this. The node. What is the node? There's a bunch of muscles here that do the mouth expressions that meet up and make a node. In this image you can't really understand, but if you take a look at this one, look, this is the lip, this is the node. It looks like a bean. I call it a bean, just for anybody forget. I usually give nicknames to parts and volumes. It makes it easier than technical names. So it's the node, but you can call it a bean because look, it looks just like a bean. And I'm Brazilian, we eat a lot of beans in Brazil. So it just reminds me of a bean. And here it's very obvious, but in the reality it's not that obvious. So here they made it a little bit less obvious, and here how it really looks like when you look to a face. You can see a little volume here, and this makes this little line in our lips. You can see in all the lips here a little line and a little volume. When you're smiling, this disappears. You can't really see it because you get all the muscles that pulls out and can't really see the bean. But when you're serious, you can see. And some people have it big, some people have it very obvious, some people you can't almost see. So you have to pay attention in what you're doing. Okay, so once we know that, let's put it on our doll. Okay, so I'm gonna keep this image here so you guys can still remember what I just told you about the theory, and let's build up. So as I said, our lip is very thin here. It cannot be that thin. Some people have it thinner, some people have it wider, but I don't think anybody have that thin like we have it right now. So besides keeping the theory image here, I am also going to have her images. So you see hers. This is the arch that we're gonna have to find here. This is already measured, right? But see how less archy it is. Mine is pretty much like a beak. So I'm going to add a little bit of clay in each side. Not trying to look for the right shape right now, just to look less archy. Here. Remember that this, the smile line, I'm going to call the smile line, that is this line here, that makes the smile line when we smile, when we laugh. It makes a line here. Remember that this goes behind the wings here. Okay? So every time that we add something, if you remember that, you can keep in mind. And here, see, when you build up, you go to the back of the wings. So I'm just going to connect them together like this, kind of following a smile line that is not going to show because she's not smiling. It would show if you put this line when she's not smiling and she doesn't have, it's going to look like she's older than she actually is. Because when we get old, we get this line more and more deep with age. Okay, so you can keep it here right now, or if you want, you can just smoothen and absolutely disappear with it. It's really up to what make you feel better. If you want to keep up just to divide the right parts of the face, it's good. So that's wider in one side. Now I'm going to do the same to the other side, and then I'm going to try to find the right one after. I'll probably put the bottom lips first because it gives me more sense of shapes once you have it all built up. That already looks better, even though there's not a shape. Just putting the volume right feels better. Okay, I didn't do it symmetrical. I'm just adding some. You can take a look in this angle and try to do it more symmetrical as well. And now, something that I always like to do to lose this sad face, you go where you mark the thicken of the mouth. Ours was already marked, but it's probably gone by now, so I'm going to remeasure that. Or you can put it on your transparency, or you can just measure on her face. Right here, you can remeasure her, how large is her lips, the two ends of it, and we can put it here in the center and remark. They're right there. So don't let this volume trick you with the shape of it. The lips finish here and here. Okay? This volume will still continuate here, but the lips not. The lips are not. They're gonna finish here and here. Then we try to give the best symmetric for those this arch here, this and this. Okay, there's no shape because I didn't even work on the profile. I'm really just making it wider. And now, to make it easier, I'm gonna get my transparency profile. Actually, I'm gonna go back to the ones I was using before that are cut already, and I'm gonna keep up with the same size. Look right there, and you can see that is, even though we build up here, it's still missing a lot for the lips, so I'm gonna get that volume better. So working with my memory now, and I have the measurement of the front here, I'm going to bring this even more to the front, right here. And now, once I reach this part here that I gave the right volume before, I'm going to go in and meet up there, like this. So I'm going to make this curve. Let me show in actually her profile, because the transparency is really bad to see. Right here, you see there's a curve, like this. I'm going to let that happen right now, once I do this part. It looks like a Simpson. And again, be careful with the arch, it cannot be so thin. So before I actually build up the lips, to don't have the same feeling that we had before, that is just a weird face with some huge lips, I'm gonna keep on doing volume here before giving her lip shape. So I'm gonna sketch the lip first, and then you guys see that that also can be done with the nose. Just sketch it and then give the details. We didn't do that in the nose, we just went straight for the details without having anything sketched for her face. So you guys see the difference of working the two different ways. Okay, so I did that. I put this huge big beak on her, and I'm gonna go back with my transparency. Look there. I have to go a little bit more in here. Try to find it as nice as I can. but I have enough clay, I have enough volume. You see, it's almost there. And now I'm gonna build up the bottom volume. So I just made like a no shape at all, just this little bit of clay and kind of symmetrical. I have no idea what I'm gonna need to change here, but I'm gonna place here and always arch. Don't forget to arch. So if you change your transparency, you probably won't need to add that much volume. I am probably going to end up with a bigger head because I did not change my transparency. I'm following the first one because I already built the nose according to it and I don't want to change my nose. So just kind of following this arch. I might have to give more volume to the side of her face after, but I'm not trying to do that right now. I'm just adding something here. Now she's not an old lady starving. Now she's almost a chimpanzee. We keep on changing our monster to different stuff. At some point she's gonna be Amy Winehouse, I hope. Okay, so once I put there, I'm gonna check how much volume I got. Again, always checking. There is a little bit of a ball here that I have to go deep, but this is the mouth shape. And I could add a little bit of more clay here so it doesn't look so weird, this volume of the chin. So I will add that volume that is missing so I don't get such a weird chimpanzee. And also my clay here is super dirty. I should even clean up a little bit before I add something so I don't get all this dirty stuck under the clay in case I need to dig in. I probably will not, it probably wouldn't even show, but because it's way too dirty I'm gonna get rid of it and put some new clean clay here. Okay, so just a little bit of the chin that is missing, volume. In the back here, she doesn't have a lot of chin to the front. Maybe some more in the back. So always making sure to press in to avoid the air. And let me check. Look, it's almost there. The neck would come here, but I'm not gonna worry about the neck right now. And now I can shape the mouth. So now that we have the right volumes here, kind of, we are going to remeasure the lips because at this point I already lost it. I'm going to measure it again. And I'm gonna place in here. Always remember the center. Place in there. Once I place this, it's already marked there. I'm going to press even more in the bottom lip, like this. Okay? And I'm gonna get my tool, and on the bottom lip here, I'm going to press in here and here, like this. Why? Remember I said that the bump of the bottom lip is more in the center than the top lip, so once you place this, you kind of already help with that shape. And here I'm going to smooth and kind of clean up all this mark here so it doesn't look like the lip is wider than it should. So I'm gonna clean up here. Probably I will need to make it this even wider after, put more cheeks and stuff. But look at the difference once you put the right measurement for the lips. How much it changes. A lot. Now I'm just giving some symmetry to the volumes on the sides here. See? All I did was mark and press my tool in there. Okay, now I'm going to find the shape. So I'm going to press my tool even deeper here and here to mark again the end of it. There. And I'm going to start, remember I said the mouth, the lip roll in. I'm going to start rolling out because I can't really roll in. So rolling out here to get the lip shape. Like this. And here, roll out. Same thing, I go to the cut in there and I roll out a bit. Just taking this, there's a mark here, I'm smoothing it. Trying to get also symmetric. That looks so much better already. Right? Now I will mark the two sharp edges of her lips here and here. I can also work on the shape of the mouth. I can also look at my transparency, place it in here. Let me place it on the camera. Right there, and see and try to copy the shape of it. It always helps. So I'm gonna bring it in according to my transparency. Slowly. Bring it in here. Measure it again. See if I brought it in enough or too much. This one I kind of brought too much, so I roll out again. And now it looks like it's right, and I'm going to mark the sharp edges right in the center of the nose, trying to don't mess up the center of it, to don't make it different, and shape this line according to her lip. Her doesn't have like a very pointy here, it's kind of opened, so I'm gonna try to copy it, the shape of her lips. The first thing that I am concerned here, it's actually just this line, like the contour of the lips. I'm not gonna be worried about the volume here. I can work on the volume after. I can add some clay to work on these volumes after. But the line of the lip is important to get right now, to get it right. So keep on working with the transparency, helps with the shape. Now I'm gonna do the bottom lip to help it even more. Mine look like no, actually I'm going to do the separation in 3 parts. So to do that, I'm just gonna go up in here and in here. So I make the bump on the center of the bottom lip to show up. Just a little bit, and then if I need to add more clay after, I will. Okay, so you can see a little bit of the line there. You don't need to be so obvious. You can smoothen, because she doesn't have a huge big bump here. And this side of mine is a little bit different of the other side. Okay, but what is bothering me now is the bottom lip, so I'm gonna work on it. I'm gonna mark. You can even hold your transparency if you want and mark the thicken of it underneath. So remember I said, let me get the image here. Remember I said there's no line on the sides, the line is in the center. So I mark the line in the center. It's okay to mark the line in the center. And now I'm gonna go inside to make the profile shape correct. So see, lip, lip, and then it goes inside, and then chin. So I'm going to press it in just in the center, like this. And then it's shaping a nice profile in there. I'm not pressing in the sides, see, I didn't make a line in there. I'm pressing just in the center. And I'm not concerned about the chin shape right now, just kind of doing whatever is happening here and making sure I won't have a lot of lines to don't look weird. And it already kind of looked like a lip. Once you do that, you don't really need to dig a hole here, but you can go for the shape of it and slowly bring it out like that, like this, to make sure that you have volume here and here, because we all have. So you see, once you do that, you already have the bottom lip marked, and once you paint it, you're gonna have even more obvious. So now I'm gonna work to get the right profile shape, because I just made kind of her lip stuff, but I didn't really do it perfectly. So I'm gonna put my transparency again and see where do I need to add and where do I need to remove clay. Looks pretty good already. Just some chin here. I can bring it in a bit. Once you reach this shape here of her lips and you are happy with it, you won't be fully happy until you have all the volumes around the lips showing. Right. So these images here, these two images here, are really good for you to, no, these two, this and this, for you to see the volumes around her lips. See how big it is. And if you look at ours, at mine, I don't know if yours is missing, but mine's missing a lot of volume here. See, mine doesn't have all this volume here and here. What you have that I noticed a lot, let me get this image, that is really unique. She has this around this one. I got this picture just because it shows a lot. She has the triangulars here, right? And then here she has the bean volume. She has very big and large. It's not really the bean, just the bean. She has more volume here than the bean. She has a lot of volume here, and that's really a huge characteristic to shape her face. So we could try to add that now and then change it once we keep on building, or we can add more volume here. This is also still, once I brought the lips more to the front, this got really still deep, so I'm gonna build up some more, because she does have more volume here. See, it's not that deep like mine. Look, mine is kind of going here, so we can add more clay there. So volume is really important right now, because we already kind of have a mouth, a nose, and an eye, and we really need to work on the volumes. So make sure to know that the cheeks, make sure to study that area, because it's not a very easy area. For me, it's just natural. I just go and do it, but you might have some problems doing this. So make sure to remember that the wings of the nose are here, and then the philtrum is a little bit higher than the cheeks, and this is the line, the smiling line that I call, that if you're young and you're not smiling, you probably won't see it, but it still exists. So it's still, there's a difference of the shape, so it goes deep in here, it gets higher when it reaches the sharp edge of the lips here, the higher part of the philtrum, and then it comes down, and once it reaches the line, it gets another shape for the volume, for the cheeks here. See, it goes rounded in other direction. So you see, I keep on doing this in my face. Look, I go philtrum, and then once I reach here, even if I don't want to have a line, I change the direction of it, so it's a curve here and then a curve here for the cheek. So make sure to remember that the lips are more in front than the cheeks. And also something that is human is, well, once you're using the skeleton, all those shapes are kind of gonna be there already. I put more clay here just to cover up this hole, give her a little bit of more chubby face in here. If I think it's too much, I can remove after, but it's already way better. Just look into the symmetry between. There's a little bit of more a line here, like a hole, so I'm gonna cover that up. Just try to give it more of a symmetry. Not working on the shape right now. And now, just like the nose, we are gonna keep on working in this with a lot of observation, trying to match up the shape of her face and lips, and using our transparency. We can go back to the nose if you notice that something is not as strong enough anymore, got to smoothen, because you add muscles, you add this and that. Sometimes some parts might lose a bit, so you have to redo it, you have to add it again. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop here. I'm not gonna add that volume still in the lips here, because I think we went too far, and you guys might rather go slowlier for this class. Just trying to do this more symmetrical lips in here. I still have to check if I need to add more volume or not, but I think it's already looking good. I'm already quite happy with everything in here. Her eyes look too deep right now, but it's because I didn't shape it around the eyes, and I didn't shape the forehead according to hers. Also, what we can do is build up that side of here. I said I would do it, and I didn't, not even paying attention to it. Oh, see, remember that I just told you guys about that fat part that she has here, this volume, this big volume. You can even see it here on the shape of her lips, of her face. See how it's really, there's a curve here, and that's exactly where the fat part goes on her mouth. And always compare and put in the same angle and compare. Could probably go a little bit more in here, more volume in here, but we can do that slowly, and or we can do it now. Let's see if it's going to change a lot. So just comparing the volumes. And you see it's going to help out for you to see everything better on her face. That helped. Look. I still didn't put that fat part here, but I have a little bit of it. Just have to go deep on the chin shape that I didn't give. We can do that after. But it already helped. So every little volume that when you notice, if you want to add now, you can go ahead and add, or you can just wait until if you don't see anything that must be added, don't worry. Start working on the details and slowly you'll see. When I sculpt something, the trick is, that's like a hint, is I do the sketch, I do the details, and when I'm trying to reach the assemblance, the likeness even more, I go for what is more obvious first. So that's how I follow the order. It's not like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. No, I don't do that. What I do is I shape those three things. So eyes, nose, lips, and some volumes. And then what am I going to do is, where is obviously wrong? Then that's going to be my next step, to fix what I can look and see, oh my gosh, this is so wrong, I'm going to change it right now. Because then once you fix that area, and then this is going to help you to see the next thing that is wrong. So always goes for what is more. So I think I can stop here right now, and what I would do next here is shaping that area here, because what is obviously wrong here is this big volume in here and how deep her eyes look. So that's what I would do next. But I'm not going to do that in this class, because then we're going to do too much, and I don't want to go too fast with you guys. Okay? So I could keep on add more volumes here, but I wouldn't be sure if I'm adding in the right spot or not, because this is what's calling me more attention for me right now, is these eyes looking so deep, and it doesn't look like her. So I would do that first. So that's a hint for you guys. Always work on what is more obviously first, and then this is gonna guide you to the next thing you have to work on. Okay? Alright, so I'll stop here for this class and see you all next week. Bye.